check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
Testing, testing. Good evening, good evening, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're about ready to get started. Good evening. This is amazing to see all of these beautiful, beautiful people here. We're about ready to get started. Please take your seats, find a seat. There is standing room in the back. We promise we will try to keep it as short as possible. Mais, vous connaissez, nous sommes Haitiens, but we will try. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. If you have a seat, please take one. If you don't have a seat, please feel free. There is standing room in the back. You ready? We'll give everyone just a moment to enter the room. Two hours. Good evening, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll give you just another moment to come on into the room. We'd like to go ahead and get started. We're running just a little bit behind and we'd like to get caught up. We hope you are enjoying your evening thus far.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. If we could just have your attention, we're about to start with the program. Okay, thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. We appreciate your presence, and we welcome you to Haitian Flag Day ceremony. That's right. That's right. Thank you. We are excited to have you with you this evening because this is a first. It's the first Flag Day celebration organized by the Coalition of Haitian American Organizations in the Chicagoland area. We are looking forward to many, many more, but this is the first. So, round of applause. A lot of work has gone into this. Thank you. At this time, we're going to call Pastor Joel Metellus to start out with a prayer, also a member of the coalition. Thank you, Pastor Metellus.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you. Thank you for the gift of life. We are blessed beyond measure because during the last 2 years, we watched hundreds of thousands taken away by COVID. So if we are here tonight, we are happy and we want to celebrate. We want to dedicate this service to you tonight. Thank you for our friends, all Haitian citizens who came out to be here tonight, and thank you for our friends, our American friends and other nationalities who are here to celebrate with us. And thank you for this great country, the United States of America, that serves us as a safe haven so we can live our life and even plan about our Haitians back home. Our heart aches as we think about what's going on right now. We pray that we will be able to convene together, put our resources together, our thoughts, and work towards a new Haiti, hopefully soon. Bless the moment we're having together, the conversations we're having with one another. Allow that we enjoy the moment with one another. In Jesus we pray.
Thank you. Now, if we could all please stand up for the anthem. We are calling up
Tanika. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoice sing as high as the leaning skies. Let resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has brought us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Is won.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful. And now we would like, please remain standing. We would like to call Martine Barté, the Haitian national anthem.
Pour le pays, pour les ancêtres, marchons unis, marchons unis. Dans nos rangs, point de traîtres, du sol, soyons leurs maîtres. Marchons unis pour le pays, pour les ancêtres. Marchons unis pour le pays, pour les ancêtres, pour le drapeau, pour la patrie. Mourir est beau, notre passé,
nous crions, ayez la main de rire. Mourir est beau pour le drapeau, pour la patrie. Mourir est beau pour le drapeau, pour la patrie.
And now, please be seated. Thank you. We have with us the Consulate General of Haiti, Consulate Marc-Yves Saint-Victor, who will address you regarding the current state of Haiti. Consul?
Chers compatriotes, amis d'Haïti, mesdames et messieurs, bonsoir. Tout le plaisir est pour moi ce soir de vous adresser en tant que consul général d'Haïti à Chicago, à l'aube de la célébration de ce 219e anniversaire de la fête de notre bicolore national. Fête drapeau, c'est un événement qui rassemble nous toutes, malgré tout ça qui a séparé nous, distance, différence nous, diversité nous, ils sont un symbole qui est fort, qui fait que nous, chaque là, capables de camper ensemble, capables de permettre que nous réunions pour nous capables de célébrer. Moi, je veux particulièrement, et quand occasion ça, pour moi, et remercier de vive voix et de Haitian American Coalition for organizing this. Merci en pile. Chaque jour, nous montrons sens de leadership nous. Chaque jour, nous montrons sens engagement nous. Chaque jour, nous montrons comment nous attacher à pays nous. Chaque jour, nous montrons comment nous croyons dans une communauté qui est forte, dans une communauté qui est unie, une communauté qui est épanouie. Merci en pile. Célébrer la fête du drapeau, c'est avoir une pensée particulière pour celles, célèbres ou anonymes, qui ont payé le sacrifice suprême pour le refus de l'asservissement de notre peuple. En mon nom et au nom du personnel du consulat, je veux remercier tous ceux-là. Le drapeau est une importance capitale pour comprendre l'histoire de chaque peuple et peut avoir des propos. Le drapeau fait partie d'un ensemble de symboles sociaux qui rappellent aux gens leur affiliation et permettent de se distinguer des autres. Mes chers compatriotes, la fête du drapeau, c'est aussi et surtout la célébration de l'université, de l'ambition, la force et la vitalité portent nos espoirs d'un avenir meilleur. Haïti, que nous rêvons tous là, ça passe inévitablement par une jeunesse éduquée et bien formée. Parce que les jeunes portent nos espoirs d'un avenir meilleur. L'éducation, la formation et l'emploi des jeunes restent au cœur des préoccupations des autorités en place et les actions du gouvernement reflètent cette volonté. À la suite du congrès de l'Ocaïe, nos ancêtres se sont regroupés pour rendre possible le miracle de 1804. Aujourd'hui, nous pouvons aussi nous unir pour reproduire cette union dans l'intérêt général de toute la nation. Vous de la diaspora, vous pouvez, à titre d'exemple, mettre en lumière le symbolisme de notre nation, de notre drapeau, tout en donnant un sens plus perspicace à cette date du 18 mai. Faites du 18 mai une date de référence. Faites de ce 18 mai un point de départ pour de nouvelles réponses aux besoins en éducation, en formation, en emploi, en financement de projets et en soutien à l'entrepreneuriat de notre cher Haïti. Ce n'est pas un secret pour personne que le 18 mai est une date importante, unique et significative dont la portée dépasse le cadre national pour se placer parmi les dates les plus significatives dans l'histoire du peuple mondial. Cette date est une célébration de l'émancipation de la liberté. C'est la fête de tous les amoureux de la fraternité humaine, des combattants de la liberté et des défenseurs des droits de l'homme. C'est également la fête des hommes, des femmes, des enfants, des minorités et du droit des peuples à disposer d'eux-mêmes. Pour conclure, mes chers compatriotes, je vous invite à vous approprier cette fierté et à cultiver et à renforcer davantage l'esprit patriotique en approfondissant le sentiment d'appartenance à un même pays, à une même nation, à une même communauté. Bref, clamez haut et fort votre fierté d'être haïtien en se rappelant le 18 mai 1803, la date de la création de notre drapeau, la naissance de notre symbolisme en tant que nation. Nos ancêtres, malgré leurs différences, se sont réunis pour former cette nation. Utilisons le symbolisme de la date de la création de notre drapeau pour nous interroger sur notre avenir en tant que nation. Si nos ancêtres l'ont fait, nous pouvons le faire aussi. Il est temps d'inscrire dans l'imaginaire collectif l'idée de l'unité nationale comme une nécessité absolue pour construire une nouvelle Haïti. Du fond du cœur, je vous souhaite à tous les Haïtiens locaux et ceux de la diaspora une bonne fête du drapeau. Merci.
Thank you very much, Consul. We appreciate you so much. Now we're going to have Karine Nunley, who will tell you the history of the Haitian flag and give you a little bit of background about the colors and what the flag actually means.
Good evening, everyone. What are we celebrating? What day is it? Let me see you wave those flags in. That's why we gave them to you. Come on. This is a celebration, yes? This means a lot to us. So for those of you who don't know, for those of you who need a review, for those of you who need an introduction, I have the pleasure of talking to you about our beloved Haitian flag. Observed on May 18th in Haiti and in several cities with large populations of Haitian Americans, many Africans of the diaspora, regardless of their ancestry, join in the holiday celebration because it commemorates the slave revolt in Haiti that led to the country's independence from France and prompted slave uprisings in America. We were the first. We were the first. Were we the second? Were we the third? We were the who? We were the first. That's right. So during the 1700s in the French West Indies colony of Saint-Domingue, later named Haiti, a few French families owned huge sugar plantations and brought in more than 500,000 slaves from Africa to work the fields. 500,000 slaves occupied that island. As in some other parts of the Western Hemisphere, many plantation owners treated slaves brutally, often working them to death. In 1789, a revolution broke out in France, and the ideals of liberty and equality expressed by the revolution quickly spread to the colonial plantation owners and merchants who demanded freedom from French rule. Well, guess what? We wanted to be free Black people, right? And slaves were ready to fight for their freedom. The most successful slave uprising in history began in August of 1791. A former Creole slave named Toussaint who? Toussaint who? That's right. Toussaint Louverture was the leading figure in the revolution. He trained an army of slaves who fought against tens of thousands of French, Spanish, and British soldiers. An estimated 350,000 people died, most of them slaves, in the Haitian Revolution before independence was won in what year? Come on now, we're 18 who? 1804, that's right. So the French captured Toussaint in 1802 and sentenced where he died in prison in 1803. Two other Haitian leaders took up the fight, Jean-Jacques Dessalines and Henri Christophe. When Dessalines and other leaders decided to march on what is now Port-au-Prince, they wanted to carry a flag that would represent their troops. And on May 18, 1803, they pieced together a design of the official flag. Since then, May 18th has been known as Haitian Flag Day. The design of the new flag began with the French flag made up of blue, white, and red bands. The white band was removed to indicate that the French no longer controlled the colony, and a wonderful, beautiful Black woman named Catherine Flon sewed the new flag together using vertical bands of blue and red cloth. Blue represented Blacks and mixed-race people, and red symbolized their blood. Over the years, the nation's flag has been modified several times, but Flag Day itself has remained the same as the day the nation's flag was first sewn together. This is a major national holiday in Haiti. In the United States, we celebrate it around the country. I am so proud to be part of the Chicago diaspora of Haitian Americans. Let's wave the flag and celebrate. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karen. Thank you for that. So as we continue with the program, we'd like to call Ms. Lisa Lode to the podium to talk about the celebration of Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable Lakeshore Drive. By the way, I just want to say, on your GPS, when you're about to get on Lakeshore Drive, I love it now because let me tell you, the first time I was like, oh, wait a minute, I have arrived. Wait a minute. Okay, because it said you are about to merge on Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable Lakeshore Drive. I said, whoa, where am I? Where am I? So you know what? Thank you for all those who work really hard. We're about to honor you for that. Here's Lisa.
Thank you. Can we give it up for the organizers of this event? Thank you. I'm not going to start naming names, but I am so proud to be a member of the Haitian Coalition in the Chicago land area. Let's give it up one more time for the coalition. So I get to talk about three beautiful people, and I believe two of them, one I know will not be with us, and the other one may be running a little late. So if, oh, hi, he made it. So I will be brief, but I was born in the Chicagoland area, and the biggest, best kept secret was that the founding father of Chicago was Haitian. That was the biggest, best kept secret. They refused to acknowledge that. But it pays to elect the right people. Do you agree? He's running for something else right now, but it pays to elect the right people. So we had some friends in some high places, and I'll start with our sister who is not here. On behalf of the coalition, we would like to share our greatest appreciation, thank you, presented to Alderman Sophia King in recognition of your unwavering fight to name Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable Drive, legislatively recognizing and paying tribute to the founding father of the city of Chicago. Thank you on behalf of the Coalition of Haitian American Organizations in the Chicagoland area. And we are going to hand deliver that to her at another time. She had a friend turning 60 tonight, so she could not make it. All right. Now I want to talk about one of our brothers who has been in the fight for many, many, many years. And I'm not going to say much more than that because I'm going to give him an opportunity to take the 2 minutes that they gave me to share his story. So I'm going to give Mr. Martin 2 minutes and then my brother 2 minutes too. All right, so with our greatest appreciation presented to Mr. Ephraim Martin. Come on up, brother. Let's give it up for him. He's worked tirelessly.
Thank you so very much. Let me see you raise those flags again because it's a special day and your strength is in the flag, and with that flag, we're gonna make sure that the Saba gets its proper respect in this great city. I must say, I'm just gonna be very short, so I'm gonna cut through a lot of things. In 1993, I went into the Historical Society, and there was a display there saying that a John Kedzie was the founder of this great city. And that's when it really started with us to say, no way. So our International Festival of Life, we took to the Cityfront Center, which we then dubbed as the Dusaba Center. And we had our festival there, and of course, it was called an invasion by the late Alderman Notorious. And we were not allowed to go back, but nonetheless, there was this, a Dusaba, a founder, Dusaba, a museum founder, who was in the audience, and she asked that we come to the Dusaba Museum to host the Festival of Life, and we have been hosting it there from ever since. But it was in just following the death of George Floyd when we say enough was enough, and it was time for Dusaba to get his full respect. So we took to the street. With Alderman Moore, we formed a coalition, and we gathered some 80 organizations to participate to make sure that Dusaba get that respect. We didn't rest. Week after week in the city council, we're right there protesting and calling for change and for Dusaba Lakeshore Drive to be renamed Dusaba Lakeshore Drive, and for a 25-foot monument for Dusaba, and of course, a full city holiday for this great founder of this great city. And of course, thanks to Alderman Moore, with the support of Alderman King, we were able to win that victory to give Dusaba Lakeshore Drive. So we can be so proud to drive on Dusaba Lakeshore Drive. And let me just quickly say, each year at the Festival of Life, we feature a Haitian entertainer at the festival. Last year, you see Phyllis Ross. But this year, we're going to bring to you Rudy Roo, the biggest group out of Haiti, to come to the Festival of Life in Washington Park, July 2nd through the 4th. And you can all come out and celebrate as we dedicate the festival to Jean-Baptiste Pointe-Dusaba, the founder of this great city. Thank you very much, and we look forward in doing more for Dusaba.
All right, and now I get to introduce my brother, Alderman David Moore, who is also soon to be the next Secretary of State of the state of Illinois. And we're going to make sure that happens because Haitians vote, and we are supporting this brother because he supported us. So I'm calling now to the stage with our greatest appreciation presented to Alderman David Moore.
I love my sister. First of all, just praise God for who he is. And I sat there and as you were, someone was talking about it, and the proudness that a community has for that. At that time, I didn't know what all that meant, but God did. There's a song we sing in church that says, Lord, if you need somebody, here am I, send me. That's easier to sing than it is to do sometimes. Because that challenge, when he calls you for something heavy, something so big that only he can bring it through. And so when this was placed on my heart, because I was just on a boat, taking a tour of Chicago, and they talked about Al Capone, they talked about Richard J. Daley, but they never mentioned the founder of Chicago. How can you not start out any tour or anything when you're talking about Chicago and not mention the founder? And it was placed in my spirit at that moment to do something. I couldn't have done this. I didn't do it by myself. Before you know it, Ephraim, them, they were doing something. They didn't even know what I was doing. They didn't even know I had submitted an ordinance. And they were trying to rename Columbus Drive. And I saw it on the news. And I came out to his event, and then we got together. Without the coalition, and I'm bringing this full circle because you have to know your power. This would not have happened without the coalition. Make some noise. One David Moore, 26 votes would have killed it easily. I promise you it would have. But when the voices of the people showed up, week after week, committee after committee, that's when it began to raise. And that's when we were able to move. And then you had people like my colleague, Alderman Greg Mitchell. You all make some noise for him. Stand, Greg. While others voted no, it was aldermen like him who voted yes. And we already honor Sophia King, but I couldn't have done it also without her. This is not no big eyes, little you thing. This is when teamwork come together, we make the dream work. Thank you all so much, and I hope I can earn your support to be your next Secretary of State of Illinois. And if you would bless me and not only vote for me, but I have some signs over here. If you have a home or anything, take a sign, put it in your yard, and I will be very appreciative because this will be our seat, not my seat. Thank you so much.
Tant nous fini, but c'est frère ça qui te bataille pour nous, bah nous, sac pour nous, Kounia Lakeshore Drive, c'est du Sable Drive. Donc là, il besoin d'une Secretary of State of Illinois, tout haïtien a demandé pour nous supporter. Bon Dieu béni nous. Merci.
All right, time is of the essence, so we're going to move quickly. We have a member of the coalition and president of the Sabo Heritage Association, Itzel Cantal. Itzel? He will be talking to you about DuSable Park. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Good evening, everyone. Please allow me to take a moment to salute Alderman David Moore. Alderwoman Sophia King, unfortunately absent, and our fellow islander, whom I call Ephraim. So Ephraim Martin, for the epic battle on behalf of DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Thank you again for this. And now we have one next battle to wage. That's DuSable Park. We got the momentum from DuSable Lakeshore Drive that carries us through DuSable Park. Please note that. That's the next battle, DuSable Park. This is what I'm going to be talking about tonight. Since its creation in 2000, DuSable Heritage Association has been advocating for the full and unfettered recognition of Jean-Baptiste DuSable, Chicago's Black Haitian-born hero. For the past 2 decades, DuSable Park has been the focus of our advocacy effort. We visualize it to be the ultimate symbol of recognition for DuSable, to be an icon for multiculturalism. We look to DuSable Park to provide a cathartic experience to those who venture in it, where they come out transformed and cleansed from all prejudices and imbued with a deep sense of respect for others. We look for DuSable Park to be this unique place where harmony among different cultures is in full display, where diversity is exalted, not denigrated, where equality is celebrated, not trampled, the very way DuSable practiced it in his settlement, and the very way he would have liked it if he were alive today. We are forever thankful for Mayor Harold Washington for memorializing DuSable contribution to the development of Chicago via the donation of 3.4 acres of prized Chicago real estate in 1987 for the construction of a park in his honor. But sadly enough, for the 3 decades that followed, the project has sat in the back burner while we watched state-of-the-art parks being built all around DuSable Park. But I'm pleased tonight to report that lately we have seen progress. Thanks to the persistent efforts by partners such as DuSable Park Coalition, Chicago Park Advisory Council, the Chicago Park District. And tonight I'd like to honor Peggy Montes. She's not with us tonight. She's not with us. Okay. She's a member of Mayor Washington's cabinet and a member of Harold Washington Legacy Group. She's a fierce and indefatigable advocate for DuSable Park. Yes, 4 years ago, a $6.8 million cooperative agreement with between the EPA and the Chicago Park District allowed for the remediation of the soil from toxic thorium and for the replacement of the seawalls. This was completed in early 2020. The private a partnership model favored by the authorities related committed 10 to the park construction as part of their 2-tower development at 400 North Lakeshore. Meanwhile, the city of Chicago, through an ordinance by Mayor Lightfoot, will cost share $5 million in the effort for a total price tag of $15 million. So this was in 2020. Fast forward to November 2021. The Chicago Park District issued a request for proposal for the design of DuSable Park, to which a score of architectural firms from various parts of the nation responded. Our colleague Paul Montes, president of DuSable Park Advisory Council, was a non-voting member of the selection process. On March 8, 2022, the process concluded with the Chicago Park District selecting a team composed of Ross Barney Architects and Brook Architecture to design the park. We are fortunate enough to have tonight with us a member of Brook Architecture, who is Ramona Westbrook, the president of Brook Architecture. It's my distinct honor to welcome you to this podium. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me to come before you. I know that this is a big celebration of the Haitian flag, and I'm so honored to be here to come before you this evening. I'm going to repeat some of the things that the gentleman before me said, but I don't think it'll be lost on you. I think it's good news. So as he's already stated, in 1987, Harold Washington, our then mayor, Harold Washington, dedicated and named 3.44 acres of land that's located at the confluence of Chicago's River, the Chicago River, and Lake Michigan. He named that for Jean-Baptiste Pont du Sable, the first non-native settler and founder of Chicago. I love to say that. In the years that followed, yes, there was some stalling, but the DuSable framework plan was developed, and it laid out a vision for the park. It included elements such as a founder's plaza, an observatory, a promenade, and a lakefront boardwalk, an outdoor classroom, a boat drop-off, and educational art components. After many years behind the scenes, in October of 2021, the Park District did issue a request for proposals from local and international architecture teams to develop designs and documentation for the construction of the DuSable Park based upon that vision that was set forth in the framework plan. My company, Brook Architecture, joined with Carol Ross Barney Architects, and we submitted a proposal to execute this work. And in March 2022, our joint venture company called DuSable Park Design Alliance was awarded the project. Thank you. We have been charged with responsibility of the following things. Number one, honor and celebrate Jean-Baptiste Pont du Sable, his contributions to Chicago, and to educate the public accordingly. To recognize the unique confluence of the Chicago River and Lake Michigan and create a passive, visible, and accessible park. To attract local, community, citywide residents and tourists to the park. To create a park design that has evolved from the input of the Chicago Park District and the Chicago Park District Steering Committee. And finally, to incorporate art and storytelling into the park and to celebrate the life and the legacy of DuSable. Now, Corrine Nunnally did not mention this, but she and I actually grew up together. We spent many birthdays and Christmases together. And I have always admired the Haitian culture. I appreciate the food. I love the language, but I especially admire the pride. As one of the first, I won't say one, as the first country to overcome colonization, I learned at an early age the importance of being true to yourself and pushing forward. So I am honored deeply with being charged with this responsibility of making this place a place of pride for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. We are very excited about this beautiful, beautiful space. Okay, and now a word from our sponsors. We want to first and foremost thank the Consulate General's Office for their generous contribution to our Flag Day presentation this evening. We also want to thank Bordeaux Griffin Design Center. There's a little feedback on my mic. It might be me. Not quite sure. There we go. That's a little bit better. Thank you. Bordeaux Griffin Design Center for this amazing space. Have you all taken a look at all of the beautiful art that surrounds you here this evening? Have you had a chance to take a look? Also, Sizzle Photo Booth is out there. Please go out and do your 360. It's actually a lot of fun. Also would like to thank Solistic 360 for the sound this evening. La Fruteria, Chicago's Caribbean grocery store. I'd also like to thank Meadows Eastside for sponsoring as well, and DJ Cha-Cha for his services this evening. And now, I'd like to bring up a few members of our coalition, Madame Aline Latour, Mr. Daryl Auguste, and Ms. Anastasie Senat. Together, these folks are going to share some of the celebrations of the coalition.
Good evening, everyone. Come on, don't be so cold with me. Good evening, everyone. Do you see how beautiful this place is? You're going to be all cold with me. Gotta keep some place la belle. I've been bombarded. Good evening. Give me some energy. All right, good evening. Thank you. You are at a coalition party right now. All right. Let me tell you a little about myself. I am Daryl August. I am a member of the coalition, one of the founding members, and the chair of the finance committee. I am also known as Petit Yannick. Yannick over there. If you wonder why I'm crazy, Nelly. I love you, Mom. Love you. I'm going to talk a little bit about the coalition. They wanted me to speak in Creole at first. So I didn't want to bite my tongue, so I'm going to speak in English. So since the inception of the coalition, we have been working for the Haitian community. This is our job. We have come together, each and every organization, to work for the Haitian community in the Chicagoland area. Our inception started with the horrendous assassination of our president, Jovenel Moïse. And with that incident, it brought about the birth of this wonderful organization that you see here today, with young people and seasoned veterans coming together to do the business of the Haitian people in Chicago and Haitian people abroad. Not only do we have people of different backgrounds, different ages, but we also have people of different perceptions that helps us grow our community and encourage younger people to come join the coalition. Yes, younger people, come join the coalition. Because like Jacques has said, the coalition is not a business. The coalition is not just an organization. The coalition is a family. And we are all brothers and sisters in the coalition. So I applaud everybody that's here, and I want you to do one thing. If you do not want to be active in the meetings, at least support us. Support us in every avenue. We are aiding at least, I think the number was 85, we might be at 100 now, 96 people who are migrants coming from Texas that came from Haiti. Now we hear about the news in Ukraine and other countries where America has opened their arms to everybody. We have 96 people in the Chicagoland area that need our help, that need immigration work. The coalition is doing that. There's also so many other things that we're doing outside of just migrant work. We're working with Congress and other politicians on the Marshall Plan, Judge Lionel Jean-Baptiste, who's heading that. We're trying to build up so many different things, but more importantly, we're trying to tell Chicago and everyone that Haitians are here, Haitians are powerful, and Haitians are going to be standing up forever and ever in this land. It's not just America for them, it's America for us as well. I'm going to pass it on to my beautiful mother over here, Eileen. Thank you all for your time. God bless you.
Merci, Daryl. What Daryl didn't mention is that he has so many titles behind his name. JD, graduated from Kent Law School, worked for Cook County State's Attorney's Office. He's a teacher. He's also a preacher. He didn't want to preach tonight, but my best introduction of Daryl came this week. I was talking to a friend, and I'm talking about the coalition. I said, you know, we have X number, so and so and so and so. Pardon me? Vice President of HALA, excuse me, so sorry. Haitian American Lawyers Association. So and I said, yeah, Daryl is there. He's the VP of HALA. I said, I say, yeah, that's the Daryl. He has 2 children. Daryl said it in English about our introduction, the coalition. I'll just do a little summary in Creole for my folks here, since it's Flag Day. Coalition a commencé en juillet. Et puis nous connaissons que il a assassiné le président Jovenel Moïse. La communauté a été Bon, nous étions en crise. Tout le monde rencontré. Après ça, tout le monde a décidé, toute organisation vient ensemble, a créé une coalition. Dans la coalition, il y a plusieurs comités, il y a finance, des rôles responsables, il y a public policy and advocacy. Objectif, c'est pour concentrer sur la politique et défendre les droits haïtiens, haïtiens américains et Haïti tout. Il y a un comité de crise là, mon responsable c'est Jude Lodel, il n'est pas là, mais il est là, il représente lui. Son comité qui va j'arrête avec frère action haïtien qui viennent dans la zone Chicago, comme Daryl te dit nous, il y a 86 personnes, 27 familles et individus que nous avons aidés. Nous faisons un pile progrès avec eux, tu as le dit nous un petit progrès que nous faisons so far. Comité sensibilisation, ça c'est Patrick Boutus, comité ça servi comme une connexion à comité et pour informer la communauté sur le service professionnel. L'autre comité nous gagne, c'est le comité ressources. Ça lui-même responsable, c'est M. Joël Degan. Son comité qui travaille pour joindre ressources pour loger travail organisation dans Chicago. Nous pas qu'à éparpiller, nous jour ça yo, faut nous gon que nous qu'à fonctionner comme une communauté, comme comité, comme organisation. Et puis, bon, l'autre comité, comme bat bravo pour eux, c'est Event and Fundraising Committee, événement à levée de fonds. Donc, c'est comité ça que this is all about. That's one of our, I would say, success tonight. I won't name the committee chairs, but thank you for that. Donc, moi-même, moi, associé avec le comité de ça tout, et nous assurer nos événements que nous célébrons l'histoire pays nous, et puis pour nous honorer héros nous et héroïnes nous. Organisation campagne pour nous joindre, pour faire lever de fonds, pour aider la coalition à faire travail. Donc, on y a un comité de crise là, lui-même, il travaille avec plusieurs organisations dans le state of Illinois, Illinois Coalition for Immigrant and Refugee Rights pour nous aider les familles, United African Organization. Le 21, il y a une activité dans 4910 South King Drive, qui ont participer, World Relief, Refugee One, etc. So, nous-mêmes, nous associés avec l'autre organisation, autre que l'organisation haïtienne. Quand il y a passé micro, Madame Anastasie Sena, président de HALA, qui a un paquet de l'autre titre.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. So I'm going to speak English because that's easier. As she said, my name is Anastasie Senat. Some of you all might know me because I am actually the daughter of the primary care physician of Harold Washington, who was a Haitian doctor, okay? Dr. Antonio Senat. So it gives me great privilege and honor to be in this moment full circle. When my dad was the doctor to Harold Washington, I was a little, 10-year-old, maybe just showing up at stuff, 12-year-old showing up at stuff. Really appreciate that we now are full circle where, when that part was dedicated and all that stuff, I wanted you all to know that Haitian people have been in the mix for a long time. But the reason why I'm up here is to tell you about some of the advocacy work that the coalition has been doing. I am obviously not alone in the work that I do. Judge Lionel Jean-Baptiste is here. He's on the committee. Patrick Brutus, he's on the committee. Etzer Kantav is the chair of the committee. Lynn, we force her to do work as well. And of course, Daryl Auguste. I want you all to know that even though I'm the president of the Haitian American Lawyers Association, there are a number of lawyers that are very active in this coalition. Daryl Auguste was a past president and the current vice president. Lynn Toussaint, she's a founding member of HALA like myself. The judge, founding member like myself. But basically taking our time, which is not necessarily our paid, just so you all know, this is all volunteer work. So when we have our regular jobs, we do this in addition to our regular jobs because we really love the community. We have met with Congressman Danny Davis. We have met with Congresswoman Robin Kelly. We have met with, Bobby Rush. We recently met with Jan Schakowsky, and we have been meeting with a number of different people, but we need your help. The US Senator Dick Durbin, as well as US Senator Tammy Duckworth. I am so sorry, we do a lot. Emile Andre is also on our committee. Thank you, I was looking for you. We do a lot of work,
but we need your help. And the number one way that we need your help is to spread the word to whoever's district you're in, whoever you are a constituent of. We need you to help spread the word. We want you to tell them to stop the deportation of Haitians, okay? We need you to tell them to create a law to have a pathway to citizenship for all of those Haitians that are illegally present, okay? We need you to help us say we want reparations and reconstruction in Haiti to come with a Marshall-like plan, okay? That means we need you to donate some money so that we can fix the infrastructure, and I know you're here, Council, but pretend you didn't hear me. All that stuff in Haiti. So in the United States, we need immigration reform, right? Not just for the Haitians, but for Black immigrants in general. They don't even think that we belong here, but we belong here too, okay? So when you're thinking about what is it the coalition is doing, are we doing enough, and how can you help? Help, first of all, give some money. Second of all, use your voice too. Contact your elected official and let them know we need to stop this and we need your vote to make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you all. Thank you all very much. We're going to go ahead and get started with the second part of our evening here. The presentation of the award that's lit up here for you. Please, when you get a chance, come and take a look at it. It's an amazing presentation here of Toussaint Louverture. Okay, and now we have Raffo that will play for us for just a moment. I was asked to remind you that there are donation boxes throughout the space here, okay? Your contribution goes directly to the things that Anastasia had just mentioned. They go directly to legal services for the community. They go directly to food, clothing, and shelter, and just general support of the coalition's efforts here. So please, we ask that everyone just, reach into your pocket there and give what you can.
Also, just a quick note that the Haitians who were allowed to remain in the United States were not given any rights. They just needed a sponsor and then they let them go. They don't have any papers to work. They don't have any medical care. There is no plan like the Ukrainians or the Arabs, where they have a plan for medical care. The Haitians that from the Del Rio Bridge have just been let out to stay with family members and given really nothing. So we, as a coalition, have been supporting them in every which way, trying to get them housing, legal assistance, general services. So we really do need your help. Any money you can donate, we have the donation boxes up front and outside these two doors. Please support us. We really do need you. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Raphael Saint-Ville, but I'm better known as Raffo. I would like to take this opportunity to say something to our ancestors by reminding each and every one of us when we fought to get independence, to be the first Black country in the world war that was free from slavery. We done it by music, by drum, by songs. In the Conga, in Haitian language, we say tambour. In Creole, we say tambour. Here in Chicago, America, we say Conga. Now we're going to ask each and every one of you to say, if you can say, ayi bobo. Aibobo, this is a Haitian expression to mean that, like amen, hallelujah, something that you're happy about. So if you can say, Aibobo, Aibobo. Now, did you hear that? So when I do that, I'm calling my ancestors. Let them know that we're here. We want to empower ourselves as a political personnel, reporters, recipient of being so beautiful to the community. We want to let you know that we're here. We need some help. We need each and every one of us to help us to make that happen. If we're in Chicago, please help us make things happen. Say, Aibobo, Aibobo, Aibobo. Now, this is a rhythm that our ancestors use. We have different rhythms. We out of time, we won't be able to do all of them. But now I'm going to give you, it's talk about Igbo. Can you say Igbo? Igbo. Say Igbo. You got to say that you mean it, because Igbo is a special rhythm our ancestors use when a person, when the female get pregnant, they talk about to be birth to two babies, which is called marasa. Marasa. In Haitian language, marasa like twins. Remember that, marasa. Say marasa. Okay. Now that's it. That's an Igbo. That's an Igbo rhythm. Marasa Igbo lele, Igbo lele, marasa Igbo lele. Come on, say. Marasa Igbo lele, Igbo lele, marasa Igbo lele. I can hear you. Marasa Igbo lele, Igbo lele, marasa Igbo lele. Marasa Igbo lele, Igbo lele, marasa Igbo lele. That's all for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, here we go. So now we are prepared for the second half here, the presentation of awards. I'd like to call to the podium here the Honorable Lionel Jean-Baptiste. I'd also like to call Mr. Patrick Brutus. In the interest of full disclosure, the same way that he likes to do to me, he's my big cousin. He loves to tell everyone whenever he introduces me, this is my cousin. So here I am introducing him the same way. Okay, they're going to talk with us a little bit about Toussaint Louverture and Jacques Eugène and what that relationship is exactly.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Good evening, everybody. You having a good time so far? We have a number of great dignitaries who are here, and we want to make sure that we recognize them before we end the evening. But right now, we want to turn our attention to the main honoree of this evening, and that is Jacques Eugène. The coalition, Abali, man, Jacques. The coalition decided for this year, our first major award, we wanted to give it in the name of Toussaint Louverture. It's called the Toussaint Louverture Award. And we wanted to honor Jacques Eugène. Jacques Eugène is a very humble individual. I'm not going to talk too much about him because his nephew had twisted everybody's arms to be able to be the one to talk to us about Jacques. So I'm just going to talk about Toussaint for a minute. Toussaint Louverture was born in slavery. He emerged as one of the most strategic military leader in Saint-Domingue. That's what Haiti was called initially. Toussaint Louverture organized a major movement for independence. He not only mobilized the Haitian forces inside of Haiti, who already, and if you know your history, you know Haitians and everyone who have been enslaved were always resisting. There was not a day, a minute that goes by that those who were enslaved were not engaged in resistance. We fought back every minute of the day. But you better know that. We didn't sit down and accept any of those conditions. We fought back. Toussaint Louverture found a way to self-educate, and he was able to follow what was going on in the world in the debates over the issues of independence. One of the influences that he came under was the French Revolution, which was talking about equality, fraternity, and equality. And so he wanted to make sure that that was applicable to the Africans in Saint-Domingue, who later became Haiti. Toussaint Louverture engaged in a real movement where he was able to use the French against the Spanish, Spanish against the French, to try to arch out a way, cut out a pathway for the Africans on the continent to gain greater freedom. But we know that slavery itself was so profitable for the Western world. And for the French, if you look at the entire Western world in terms of the riches that they possess, the quality of their nations, the universities that they created, their streets, their lives have been qualitatively better by the fact that they have had 350 years of enslavement going on in the island. I mean, if you had that kind of free labor every day, you would be enriched as well. So in light of that, given the danger that Toussaint posed to the French maintaining control of the island, they set a trap for him. Toussaint thought that they were calling him into negotiation. And so they took him, they ambushed him, they arrested him, they crossed the ocean with him, and they put him in prison at Fort des Joux in France, and he died in a cold prison. But when they took Toussaint away, Toussaint told the French enslavers, he said, you could cut down this tree of liberty, but the roots are profound, and they will sprout up again. So the spirit of liberty will continue to manifest itself. So that's a profound statement. Every Haitian memorized that kind of stuff. It's a profound statement because soon after they had taken Toussaint into captivity, and soon after he died in the prison on April 7th, 1803, the roots that sprouted gave them Jean-Jacques Dessalines. How many people are familiar with Jean-Jacques Dessalines? Jean-Jacques Dessalines was not about negotiations. That branch that sprouted was about liberty or death. And so Jean-Jacques Dessalines set about a course because he was not into negotiation. He put out a call for the military, for the indigenous army of revolution, the African revolution in Haiti, He said, our campaign is about cutting their heads and burning their homes. He said it, newspapers, if you trying to quote somebody and say, Judge Jean-Baptiste said this, I'm quoting what was said. And so that campaign uprooted the slave masters. He kicked them, the movement kicked them out of the nation, and Haiti was able to declare its independence on January 1st, 1804. So we are naming our first award after our brother, Jacques Eugène. Jacques Eugène, who himself came out of humble beginning, has been a consistent freedom fighter for the interests of not only Haitians, but African Americans and everything that is just. Now, Patrick is going to talk about him, so I don't want us to be redundant, but I want to tell you a little story about Jacques Eugène. When Chicago had been influenced to begin to name certain monuments or structures after Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable. One of the monuments, one of the structures that was being named after Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable was the Michigan Bridge that's over the river. On that day when they were unveiling the sign to name the thing Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable Bridge, you know the little paper they usually put on the sign, and then there's a little rope that you pull. The media was there and everybody was there. And when it was time to pull down the sign, it got stuck. It wouldn't come down. The paper didn't come down. So the sign of Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable Bridge could not be seen. So we didn't have a ladder, city personnel was not the technical people who do the hard work of, getting it done. Jacques Eugène was there with his suit and tie, and he had some fancy shoes on his feet. And you know those flagpoles? Jacques Eugène climbed that flagpole with all his fancy stuff on him and took the sign, unveiled the cover. Now, if I had tried to do that after one or two steps, I would have died. You guys would have had to come to my funeral. Jacques Eugène is special like that. He's not somebody who's going to be out front all the time, but he's always there. And he will not accept us standing still. He will not accept defeat. He will fight back. So he's one of those branches that Toussaint talked about. And so are we, that the tree of liberty could be cut down, but you couldn't uproot, take the roots away. It will sprout up again. And that's what this is all about. So I give you Patrick Augustin, who is Patrick Bridges. Patrick Bridges, who is one of our upcoming individuals who will be leading us. Eventually, Patrick is going to run for an office. He's going to win. That's his destiny. That's his destiny. So he speaks for us. And the chairwoman of the coalition said, your time is up, so let me pass it to you, Patrick. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. Jean-Baptiste, the judge. Thank you. Well, I'm not running tonight. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to speak in English tonight. Is that okay with everybody? We have some guests here. That's right. Amen. All right. So tonight, I am extremely honored to have the privilege of presenting this award to Jacques Eugène. For those of you who don't know, Jacques is my uncle. I have a lot of uncles. And Jacques is right up there at the top as one of my favorites. By the way, I have another uncle in the audience tonight, Guy Montez, who's in the back. Guy is here with his wife, Martine Janine. Bravo, everybody, please. They flew in last week to spend time with their daughters and their great-grandchildren. His great-grandchild had their baptism last week. And these are Cindy Newman's parents. Where's Cindy? She's here? Cindy's doing a great job. Okay, Cindy, yes. Cindy's grandmother. Cindy's the grandmother. So congratulations to the family. Okay. So when the conversation came up about how to formalize this event and come up with some people to honor, I want to say that it was pretty clear, and once Jacques' name came up as the person that we should consider, the meeting was over, okay? It was very obvious that he was the person that we should be honored, and it was unanimous that Jacques would not only be our choice, but more importantly, he would be the person that deserved this award, because you deserve it, okay? You just heard a little bit about Jacques from the judge. Hi, Kola. All right, bonsoir. Well, yes, absolutely. And you know, we just heard from the judge, and we learned a little bit about his history and some of his magnificent highlight reel of achievement. I was there that day, and it was exactly as the judge described. But we all felt that we should publicly recognize this man because it is long overdue. It's long overdue. Let's clap for that. Amen. It's long overdue. But before we bring Jacques up for this award, I do want to share a few things about the Jacques Eugene that I know. Okay, first let me say that in my life, it has been very easy for me to love this man. I'll say it again, I love you, Jacques. I love this man. I love my uncle. In that love, however, comes knowledge. And I like to summarize my life knowing Jacques into the three parts of who I think Jacques is. First of all, Jacques Eugene is the public policy, politician, community man. You agree? Then there's Jacques Eugene, the family man. And then there's Jacques Eugene, the good Samaritan. Let me tell you about Jacques Eugene, the public policy, politician, community man. Jacques is all about being the #1 Democrat in Chicago. He breathes it, he lives it, he loves it. How many of you have ever gone to Jacques' garage to get a service like an oil change or something major? And while he might be telling you that he couldn't do it at that moment and to come back tomorrow, you found yourself talking about politics right there in the garage. Or maybe you were hanging out at his house on a Saturday, and just out of nowhere, he said something crazy about the governor or president while calling that person your governor or your president. If you pay attention, though, Jacques will always literally show you his love for community and politics in a lot of his conversations and actions, because he believes that both are either good for business or good for the community. For Jacques, both are one and the same, and they are inseparable. Since I've known Jacques, he has always been trying to find a way for the community to win. And if that meant that we had to go help a guy running for office, some of you might not remember, but he was ahead of his time when he was out front for Blagojevich before everybody else was. Or if it meant that forging a relationship with Alderman Beavers, or Alderman Beavers again, or Alderman Holmes, or just bringing food to some of his fellow business folks on 9th Street, we just had to do it. Because that's who Jacques is. Jacques literally has a wall of fame in his office, in his garage, featuring him and a who's who of politicians and VIPs, which lets you know that he has always been at the table with a lot of people who make the big decisions, speak about our issues. And Jacques would do it. He would do it because he would say, This way, they know the Haitian community is here. You guys are missing all the applause. He would do it because he would say the Haitian community is here. That's why he would say it. Then let me tell you about the Jacques Eugene, who is the family man. Jacques, simply put, is all about family. This year, he will celebrate 46 years of marriage to my beautiful aunt, Vinya. Jacques is the father to 3 kids, Guy, who's here, who flew in, Joanne and Martine, who was married to Lawrence Cooper. Are they all in the room? Okay, they're in the back. Jacques has 3 amazing grandchildren, Fatima, who's here, Langston and Malcolm. But did you also know that Jacques has a whole nother wing of amazing children, nieces, nephews, and cousins? Did you guys know that? Look around the room. They're all in your mirror and sitting next to you. Jacques has an amazing track record of adopting everybody within 5 minutes after meeting them, right? How many of you have been adopted by Jacques? Okay. Raise your hand if you've ever heard Jacques call you nephew or niece or my daughter. That's one of my favorite ones. Okay. And here's his most famous one. Oh, that's my buddy, right? Jacques is always saying, that's my buddy. But Jacques would always, and when I mean always, I mean in the literal definition of the word always, open his home to a stranger or a friend who didn't have a place to eat after church or needed a place to stay for a couple of days. The people from Bethlehem are here. Let's give them a round of applause. The church is here. They know exactly what I'm talking about. Jack's house is always open on Saturday, right? This man is all about family and friends, and he embodies what that word means. In other words, Jacques brings people together. This is proof right here. We're all in this room, over 100 people here to celebrate this great man. But if you asked him, why are you such a family man and unconditional with people? He would tell you a story about growing up in Haiti, and along the way, how folks showed him generosity, gratitude. And then he would tell you that the Haitian people must take care of each other, no matter what, no matter where, no matter how. That's Jacques, the family man. Then there is Jacques Eugene, the Good Samaritan. This is probably the most awesome and inspiring thing about my uncle. He is all about helping people. He only wants to see people get ahead in life, and his heart is big with room to love everyone. I bet almost everybody here in this room tonight has a story of how Jacques helped you along the way. And you probably got that help and you weren't even expecting it. Or if he helped you on a previous occasion and needed more help, you could count on him to be there for you again. If you don't have that kind of story about Jacques, it's just because he hasn't met you yet. He is a guy that will literally give you the clothes off his back. Jacques is such a good Samaritan that he could show up at your doorstep unannounced with something, a box of food or your car or some information that you needed to know. And about 90% of the time, whatever he had for you is what you needed at that moment. That's Jacques. I remember a time in October 1997 when we got the call that my father had passed away. My parents were divorced. My mother shouldered the provider to me and my brother along the rest of the way, and God bless. And we really learned the proverb of the village growing up. Jacques and Vinya were a part of that village, obviously. But when the news came of his passing, it came at the most inconvenient time, right? My mother was in Florida, wrapping up a vacation. Gene, my brother, was living in New York at the time, and Harold and I, that's my brother over there, he's here with his wife, Medley. Harold and I were in Chicago. We were in Chicago, in Chicagoland. Our family was separated, and we were, as you can imagine, not in the best emotional situation at that time. But Jacques stepped up for us. He literally took care of our needs at that moment. He paid our airfare so we could go to Haiti, be there with our grandmother, and everyone else in the family who were mourning and fulfill our obligation and duty as sons. Coincidentally, Harold and I were on the same flight with my aunt back there, Janine, and her daughter, Natanya. And when we met up in Haiti, in Port-au-Prince, we met with my mom and my brother, and then we all walked in our grandmother's house together as a family. I'll never forget that. I will never forget that, what you did for us during that incredible time. I'll never forget it. That's the kind of man Jack is. In Matthew 25, verse 35 and 36, Jesus said, I was hungry and you fed me, thirsty and you gave me drink. I was a stranger and you received me in your home, naked and you clothed me. I was sick and you took care of me. In prison, you visited me. In my lifetime. So I always say in my lifetime, because I'm not in your lifetime, I'm in my lifetime, right? So everybody has their own lifetime. But in my lifetime, I have seen Jacques do all these things and pass his test repeatedly while fulfilling the Lord's mission of kindness, humility, grace, and empathy for mankind. He is truly an exceptional man, truly an exceptional man. There are not many like you. Please know that. In all these aspects of his life as a community man, family man, and a good Samaritan, if any one characteristic is clear and consistent, it is that Jacques is a leader. Jacques is a leader. He is truly a man's man who embodies the spirit of one of the greatest Haitian leaders. And on behalf of the coalition, of Haitian American organizations in Chicago area, I'm proud to present Jacques Eugene as our honoree and recipient of the 2002 Toussaint Louverture Award. Congratulations on an honor well deserved.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Tonight, I can say my dream come true. Maybe you might say because I received the award. No, it's not my dream. I was want to see my funeral before I died. And tonight, I feel like you come to my funeral, you give me the respect I deserve. Most of the times, we wait when somebody dies to talking about him, even his worst enemy talking about him, that hypocrite. No. I have people who come from to Atlanta, Florida, fly many places to come in tonight to assist me. That's what it's all about. Don't wait when your loved one die to give him love, to give it a flower, give him when he's alive. And, tonight is not a coincidence. The coalition was take the January 8th Independence Day to do that what they're doing tonight. But Mother Nature wasn't allow them because the corona, and they want to do it in person. They want to do it in visual, but they're not satisfied. They want to do it in visual. But it's not by coincidence. They nominated me as a Toussaint Louverture Award. Toussaint Louverture, exactly a month of the May, is the awareness month of the Haiti. From the May 1st up to May 31st is the awareness May of Haitian the month. And the second, Toussaint Louverture born in 1743, and May 20th, 1743, and 8 days will be the anniversary of Toussaint Louverture this month. Therefore, there's no coincidence. And the second, and when they tell me, they call me, they say, Jacques, you nominate as the Toussaint Louverture Award. And I was called Lynn. I said, Lynn, how do you know? They said there was a long life doing. I said, Lynn, how do you know me? Because those people who nominate me, they live under the wall of me. I live in South Side. They live in North Side and suburb all over. How could you know? He said, Jacques, everybody know you. They know what you're doing. Therefore, always. But let me tell you something. Let me give a little bit story of the Haitian in Haiti. In Chicago, an area that a fortunate city or state who got the best of the Haitian. Most of the Haitian, who, the first generation who come in Chicago was a professional who was persecuted by the Totomacoute Duvalier, who was, when you're intelligent, when you something, you subject to be dead because you think you can take his place. Even they created a Totomacoute, even some young students study and we don't have a light in the house. Somebody took a stand in a light pole to study. If you stand 3-4 of them, stand a light pole to study, they can shoot them, they can tell them they are communists, they are terrorists. Duvalier was created the word of terrorists, therefore all the educated people have to flee. But most of them come to Chicago. And we have a judge here who can witness me. We have, I see we have 85,000 Haitians living in Chicago area. I have a judge who tells me maybe 0.01% of them in jail. You will not find Haitian in jail in Chicago, maybe 1 or 2. And the second, if the state of Illinois go make a research, you might be find an 85,000 people, you might find maybe 300 in welfare because they believe in working hard to earn what they deserve. When the Haitians come in, they might be in a situation temporarily, have some temporary assistance, but they're not going to stay there for grandchildren stay there. Therefore, we're not a burden for the state of Illinois. With the hard worker, if you're lucky, you have one Haitian to work for you, you're going to get the best worker in the world. They like to work in Chicago, and therefore, we have we come in as a coalition, like 20 organizations get together to come in one to be a power voting in Chicago. We go up with the pastor told us, when you vote, when you're politic, you deserve with devil. A lot of us scared of being part of the voting process. Right now, the coalition want to educate the Haitian, all to 85,000 to be a voting bloc, to be powerful, and we can come in and vote. And when we ask something, when we come to a politician, we ask you for something, we say, we got vote, we need something. Therefore, we ask you, all Haitians, to come together, be a voting bloc, they can see our value. We complain, they don't do nothing for us. Mexican get something, African get something, we don't have nothing. We're not going to get nothing because we don't vote. We have to vote. Let me tell you something. Electing a candidate, electing a politician, you give your hand and somebody to help you. When you're driving in the street, you got a nice asphalt. It's not coming from heaven. The politician fix the world for you. The politician give you clinic. The politician give you. And let me tell you something. Us Haitian, where we standing right now in this building, is the politician make Bordeaux and Griffin coming to South Side. He said that they was going to get that business in downtown, and Mr. Moore say, you come to my district, come and make something. We need this, we deserve it. The politician bring them here, Griffin and Bordeaux, to get that beautiful building we can see. We're going to be downtown. If you think you're not going to vote a politician, you're in mistake. Therefore, myself, many people, many times say, Jacques, what do you have from the politician? You've been involved so long. I have a lot. First, when I come to the politician, I got my flag. I represent Haiti. Okay, anywhere I go. And then I go to inauguration in Wentzville. I got a big flag. Haitian is there. And I'm going to any office. Haitian is here because we have Jean-Baptiste from Disabled who creates Chicago. Therefore, we will represent Haiti, Chicago. Okay, therefore, that's the first thing I have. I know when Santi walk, that means my time is over. But I can tell you, my brothers and sisters, I will ask you to come together. A lot of our generation will be restricted to come to be together. I have a lot of young American born here. They're working day and night to make the coalition work. I'm not going to call them since they start working. I'm not going to call her name, but at least thank you, and thank you for my family, my wife, and everybody.
Thank you, Jacques. The honor is ours. It's a very heavy award, Jacques. When we remove it, okay, don't drop that now. Okay. The image of Toussaint Louverture is etched inside, and it does have Jacques' name in it as well.
Please, if you allow me to say something.
No, we're not. We don't want you to say anything else, Jacques. We don't want Jacques to say anything else. Thank you.
One thing I don't say, me and Toussaint Louverture, we have a same little bit thing. When I was in grammar school, I fight every day. Why? When they're beating on somebody, they say, if you are Jacques, you will never, they say, go get Jacques. I fight every day and always win.
Patrick, I wanted you to come on up for a moment. Tonight, we're honored to have a few guests here in the house to join us to celebrate our Flag Day. I'm going to let Patrick make the introductions very briefly here, and we'll give our friends a moment to address our family.
Okay, thank you. So when we spoke earlier about how important public policy is and shaping the decisions about what impacts our community, we're so excited this evening to have some folks who are in office or running to office. So first of all, we should be clapping for that, because that is impressive to have a nice room full of Haitian Americans and to have people running for office that respect our community enough to show up tonight and say hello to us. So let's do that, because these are the people who will hopefully be making decisions that will benefit our community. And I'd like to first introduce Maria Barlow. Maria Barlow is running for judge in the First Sub-Circuit. Let's bring Maria Barlow to the stage.
Thank you, Patrick. Sock passe, everyone. So, like Patrick said, I'm attorney Maria Barlow. I know Patrick, I know Judge Baptiste, I know Daryl August, I know Miss Maria August. My mom's name is Maria as well. So I'm running for Cook County judge. I ask you all to vote for me. This is not my first time being in the presence of the Haitian community. I thank you for accommodating me. I thank you for letting me celebrate this Flag Day with you. It's extremely important that people who are on the bench understand the different communities, especially the Haitian community. I grew up in the first sub-circuit. We're in the first sub-circuit. The Southeast side is the first sub-circuit. I've been there my whole life. So I definitely understand the Haitian community. I've visited the churches. I've done estate planning for many in the community. Trust me when I tell you, one of the ladies up here talked about immigration. It's important to know who you're gonna appear in front of and make sure that they understand the differences between everybody. So when you go to the polls in June, please punch number 191, Maria Barlow for the bench. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Okay, we look forward to supporting your campaign as well. Southside, who said that? That Daryl Locus's mommy? Okay, let's also now, the first congressional district is very important. It's a very historic district. Bobby Rush, if you know, was in the seat for 30 years. He is now deciding to vacate the seat. And there are a bunch of people running to replace him in that position. And we are, I think, very fortunate to have somebody here who actually is running for the seat. She's a friend of mine, just for the full record, but she is a wonderful lady. Her name is Karen Norrington Reeves. Wait till you hear what she has to say. Let's give her a round of applause as she comes up to say hello.
Bonsoir, famille moi. Moi content pour moi ici là avec nous toutes. Sak Naboule. My name is Karen Norrington Reeves, and I am here and excited for lots of reasons. Oh, I stand before you a third-generation Chicagoan, and in 2013, I found out that I am of Haitian descent. And I found out in the strangest way possible. I went to Haiti to accompany my best friend who was adopting a little boy. And while I was there, I fell in love with a little girl, my daughter. And I learned Creole from Miss Nana Colette over here because she taught my best friend how to speak Creole, and then I learned it so that I could communicate with my daughter. I didn't know I was gonna be her mom. I left the orphanage in Kinskoff and I came home, and my cousin called me and said, "Hey, cuz, I heard you went home." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Haiti. You went home to Haiti." He said, "We're Haitian. You didn't know that?" I said, "With my luck, we're from Haiti, Mississippi. What are you talking about?" He said, "No, no, no. Your great-grandfather came here from Haiti." And so I took the time to learn my roots and to teach my daughter once she came home about her heritage. And so I come tonight, first and foremost, to celebrate Haitian Flag Day because we celebrate it in our home. Just like every January 1st, we celebrate with Soup Jumu. But I'm also here tonight because my friend Patrick Brutus asked me to come. And so you all have mentioned my political icons tonight. You mentioned Harold Washington, who was my hero when I was a child. And you mentioned Bobby Rush, who is retiring from Congress and who has asked me to run for his seat and has endorsed me as his candidate. And so I stand before you in my community. I live 4 blocks away from here, and I'm asking for your vote on June 28th, not because I'm Haitian, not because I practiced immigration law and helped to fight for equity and parity. And as I'm watching Ukrainians come here, and I know 12 young ladies who have been in this country for a week and have full scholarships to school right now, immigrants that look like us, cake, and are deported or left abandoned at the border and mistreated. I know that we have to have immigration reform and a path forward for anyone who is here to have a life. When people talk to me about, oh, well, they don't pay taxes, really? Because they buy the same food you're buying and paying high taxes on that. So don't tell me that immigrants don't come here and actually contribute to our society, because you're dependent on them to do all of the things that you frankly don't feel like being bothered doing. And so I want you to know that if you vote for me on June 28th, you have my word, my solemn word, based on my track record in my life, that I will stand up for Haitian people and Black and brown immigrants everywhere, because we deserve to be a part of this American fabric. So I thank you for your time. I will be here tonight to answer any questions you might have. Have a great evening. Thank you all. Merci un peu.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Maria. We have two more people that we need to greet this evening. We already met him. I was going to ask him to come back, and then we'll close with Alderman Mitchell. But Alderman David Moore. Alderman David Moore. Come on, Alderman David Moore. We're supporting you, man. Alderman David Moore is running for Secretary of State. And I've had a chance to work with this man in the course of my job every day, representing the Department of Planning and doing some economic development. And I have come to learn how this man works. And since he's been in office, he has greatly impressed me. Those of you who know him in a different way personally or longer know him from a different way, but I have seen this man work. And this man is working for the people. So David Moore, say hello.
I'm going to be real short because I spoke to you all before, but you lit me up on fire, because sometimes it's not about compromise. It's about liberty or death. It's about resources or death. And in order to, I tell people in public office, you cannot be married to the position. You got to be married to the purpose. And therefore, you have to be willing to lose your seat to do the right thing. And so every day I'm doing that, and I'm going to continue to fight for that. The Secretary of State's office is more than just driver services. There are 20 different departments within the Secretary of State's office, 4,000 jobs. You're not going to have to look for me. You're going to be at the table. And so, again, I hope I can earn your support to be the next Secretary of State of Illinois. And don't forget to take a yard sign, put it in your yard, get all of those voters out, and let's win this race. God bless you.
And then lastly, I want to invite Jack's personal Alderman, Greg Mitchell of the 7th Ward of Chicago, serves in the City Council. I think he's this is your second term, right? Second term. And if you didn't know, he'll probably tell you, but the 7th Ward is home to a lot of Haitian people in the South Shore, South Chicago community area. Let's bring up Alderman Greg Mitchell to greet us.
Good evening. Jock reminded me that the 7th Ward is full of Haitian people, so he has that covered. I've known Jock going on 10 years now, and everything Patrick said about him, I had an opportunity to actually witness. I am so happy that you are getting your flowers while you're still alive. This is the first time I've been to a funeral before the person's died, but I'm happy to be there. All I can say is this is a good man. Taking a phrase from the Italian people, he's a good fellow. And it's been a pleasure working with him. Look forward to continue working with him. And congratulations, man. When I found out about the award, I did a little homework. I was like, oh, who else was in the running for this? So once again, congratulations.
Thank you, Alderman Mitchell. Okay, we've got a couple of very brief announcements, just a couple very brief announcements before our closing remarks, and then we will go ahead and let you have another cocktail.
Yes, I just have two things because I know we're running out of time. One, the coalition is looking for volunteers because we are trying to get legal representation for the migrants. We are doing a work session to help them fill out their applications for asylum. We need people who can speak Creole. So, m'a dit ça en créole. N'a cherché moun qui veut faire volontaire pour aider migrants yo remplir application asile politique. Nous besoin moun qui connaît parler créole pour que nous capable aider yo remplir application. So, s'il vous plaît, dehors gon liste si nous capable, nous capable mettre non avec numéro de téléphone nous ou email adresse nous. Merci. Et puis tout le 28 mai, samedi 28 mai, là dans le sud, pas qu'on adresse là, mais si nous mettons non avec numéro de téléphone, nous n'a fait suivi pour nous faire nous connaître qui bon, mais c'est samedi 28 mai à 10h. Et puis tout, nous gagnons Daniel Jean qui dans salle là, oh, ok, many. He's also looking for volunteers, but he's going to tell you quickly a little bit more about it.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. And I'll be quick because I know we all want to get back to celebration. I'm working with the Legal Protection Fund to connect a lot of migrants to a lot of legal resources. And this is an opportunity for synergy as the coalition is doing a lot of great work at the same time, but we're looking for navigators who can help us reach a lot of those families, who can help us reach some of those people, you know, who don't know what the next steps are as they're looking for more resources here, you know, as far as from legal resources with the NJIC, also with housing and different things of that such. So looking for a lot of resources, looking for a lot of navigators and help. So if you want to get with me, I'll be here outside waiting around. So if you want to talk, it'd be a great time for us to connect. Thank you so much.
Okay, I also want to acknowledge our vendor out there, Creole Solutions. Marlene Julienne is out there, and she recently wrote a book. It's called Nan Jardin. Seeds from book do support Haitian children's educational resources. So if you have a young child or a teenage child and you would like to purchase a book, please do so. Also want to thank our vendors that were out. How was the food? Macaronisa. Ooh, that was delicious. So Mael, I want to make sure I have this correct. So I'm pulling out the card. Give me here. Catering by Mael. Your first bite won't be your last. Her cards are available in the back, at the counter there as well, if you are interested in additional catering resources. Also, I have catering by Hans. That was, Hans Sherry was out there as well. And I believe his cards are out there also. July 4th, 2022 at James Park is the Haitian Community Festival. Be there. We look forward to having everyone come out as a community to celebrate the 4th of July. Okay. We want to close out. I had some prepared remarks, but I'm going to keep it very short because I know we're tired, we're thirsty, and we want to get back to the socializing. I want to thank each and every single one of you for coming out this evening to celebrate Flag Day. It's a very important event for our community. All that we do as a coalition is very important for our community. We ask that each and every single one of you get involved. We can't make things happen here in the city of Chicago without you. It takes all of us, each and every single one of us. It takes every single one. If you are not a member of the coalition, please look at joining. There are many posters all along the way. There are QR codes. Please go to our website, www.HaitianAmericanCoalition-Chicago.org. Please join us. We need your support. We need your help. We need your resources. It takes a village. I also want to personally thank my husband for stepping up and showing up every single time. He's running sound back there for us, but he supports our community in every single way possible, every time. And my dad too.
Let's continue and say thank you to Radio La Différence, Jean-Ville Joseph, who's here with us, volunteering. Give him a round of applause, everyone. Also, just a reminder, Festival of Lights is going to be July 2nd to July 4th at Washington Park. So, you know, COVID is almost over. It will never be over, but you know what? We're done with COVID. So make sure you get out this summer, okay? Thank you for joining us. And please, let's relax and socialize and have some more drinks.
I'm going to exercise an option and ask you to applaud these coordinators, our hostess, Avocat Marilyn Toussaint and Cindy Newman. Yay, thank you for your work.
Active members of the coalition, if you can fall back and meet us here at the podium so that we can take a few photos. Active members of the coalition, please.